Hey all, in this video I'm going to share with you how to create a template from one of your own layouts. This is what I often do with mine, is I grab a layout that I've made totally from scratch and I use it to create my own template to share. Of course, I need to be careful not to get an old layout from long ago that I might have used a template from. And I see this one I did not, and I kind of think it's cool and unique, and so I'm going to make a template with this. Of course, I've made a few templates totally from scratch without a layout, and then tried to make my own layout with it later, and that's a good way to make myself think outside the box. So whichever method you use is fine. And then at the end of this video, we're going to share how to change these from rectangular to square, or square from rectangular, either way. I am a rectangular scrapbooker, and so this one needs to be changed to square. And so we're going to review that, because I like to offer mine in both ways, because a lot of people don't know how to quickly and easily change templates. And so here's my layout, and the first thing I'm going to do is look at it for elements that I need to just delete, because those are things that other people are going to insert on their own. And so I have some brads here that I'm just going to delete straight out of my template. Now, I haven't done this in advance, so you're going to be watching me make mistakes as I move along. So I got rid of all those brads. I see I have some date text, and I'm just going to grab that date text and write in here, insert date here. Now what I like to do is put most of my text on the top layers of my templates, so I'm just going to drag that up. And it just seems to help people to have things, when I'm making my layout, they may be randomly put in here in various orders, and it would be confusing to people, is what I'm trying to say. So next I'm going to take my journaling. I like to encourage people to journal, so I actually will take my journaling, and let's see, I'm going to go down to here. I'm going to take it all, and I'm going to write something silly like, you should really, let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. You should really put some great journaling right here. Okay, just something silly. You can just put journal here if you want. I try to put something different in most of mine. And I highlighted it, and I did a Control-C and then a Control-V, and you see it's too long. So I'm going to go in here and just manually hit return. I'm trying to zoom in so you can see, but I don't think that's working very well. So there, I'm zoomed out about just right. That went in there just fine. I'm going to Control-V it again, and I just keep putting the same text in here. I'm using my mouse to go to the end where I need to either hit return, or to go to the end, press Control-V, space, Control-V. And I just kind of fill this in so people can have an idea of what the text is going to look like right here in my own template. It's a little bit of tedious work, but I'm going to break this so my text ends better. There, now I have where the text is going to go. I'm going to, I see, I got some stuff going on here with the title. I'm going to drag that up and make it invisible for right now. I'm going to deal with that a little bit later. Now I see I have a background layer here, and often, some people will use the same color for all of their templates, but I often find myself just grabbing a color right from my layout, because I know they already coordinate well. And so right now I'm going to grab my eyedropper tool and grab this blue from the background, and since the background is all filled in, I can just go to Edit, Fill Layer with my foreground color, and I change that to my foreground color. Now it's important that you also name your layouts, your layers in your templates. I don't know how many people I open their templates that they give away for free that aren't professional people, and you'll see them layered like this: layer 9, layer 4, 9, 8, 5, 4, copy layer 8. It's kind of crazy. You need to make sure when you're making templates to rename all of your layers. So I'm going to name this one background, because it's going to be my background. And then I usually go through and do my photos next. Now I tend to make all of my photo layers the same at 50% gray. And so I am going to hold down my control key, click on this thumbnail in the layers palette to get marching ants around it. I'm going to go to Edit, Fill Selection, and this time I'm going to scroll down and do 50% gray, and that changes that layer. Control D to deselect, and then I'm going to click on the other photo layer. I see I have something going on. Oh, I extracted him out of the photo. Okay, sometimes you have to, and I gave him a new background, see? So I'm going to right click and merge down. Now I've got his photo layer. I'm going to control click on that layer, image. Sometimes I have to go through and figure out what in the world I did 2 years ago, and control D to fix that. Now I'm going to make sure I label these both photo. And in this case it is important to have these layered the way I have them. I do note that I've added a special drop shadow for this layer, and I've linked the two, and I think it's okay if I just leave that. I don't need to do anything with this one, but special drop shadow. That way when somebody opens this up, they're going to know exactly what that was for. Now that I have my photos and all my text, well, except for my title that I'm going to deal with later, I need to work on the other layers. I see here I have a paper that I have actually created using the blending vignette, and it's white with snowflakes on it. And it actually, well, it's a normal layer. So what I'm going to do is get that white out of there. Control click. Let's see, with it being blended, I'm not sure if this is going to work or not. Well, actually, I'm thinking I'm going to need to use the lock transparency, but let's see what happens. See, this is where it's good for you to follow my train of thought. And in this case, it works okay, because I did grab the same color. Well, now look here. Now I'm going to eat my words. So you zoom in really close, and you see it did not. The part where it's blended actually has some of those snowflakes still showing. So in this case, what I want to do is control click and get those marching ants again. And down here where it says lock, I'm going to click lock transparency pixels. And in this case, I'm going to get my paint bucket, I think, and click out here to fill this in the rest of the way. And I think we're good. I'm going to do it inside and outside, and Control D, and I think that helps a lot. Now I'm going to unlock that. You see the lock? I'm going to unlock it so that doesn't scare people when they open up my template. And so then that's a great, nicely blended layer, something unique. Now, with regard to, I'm going to turn off this text layer for a minute. This element, I can't really use this and just fill it in because it's such a unique layer, because it's an element that came already torn, where actually I think I made that with an atomic cupcake action, which actually I think I made this whole thing. I think this is one of my kits. So I could leave that on there just like it is, because the atomic cupcake does allow for commercial use, and this was actually made with paper that I actually made. But let's say you got this from somebody else, and so we're going to assume that that's the case, and you don't want to leave this there like that. And I can't just fill it in because it's got all this bumpy stuff, and then that would look funky. So in this case, I do want to follow the rounded corners, so I'm going to get my rounded rectangular tool, and I'm going to draw with it and see that the corners are not quite as rounded as I would have liked. So I'm going to hit undo and bump this up. I don't think 30 is going to be enough. Let's test it. No, 30 is not enough. So I think I'm going to go with 150. And that is too much. Let's go with 100. Yes, this is trial and error. That looks a little bit better. So I'm going to just draw that shape there and simplify it, and then I'm going to get rid of this original layer here. And I don't like the color that I created that, and so I'm going to get this darker blue here. I'm going to darken it up just a little bit, and I'm going to fill that. I did an Alt backspace to fill that rather than going up to the fill menu. There's always so many things to do, and that does need a drop shadow. Now, people will tell you that some designers put no drop shadows in their templates, and some designers put drop shadows in them, especially the custom drop shadows when they're really into those custom drop shadows. Some designers are into them more than others. I'm not too into them. I use a lot of the standard ones, unless I do a custom one like I did with this. And I just use the soft edge often on my layouts. And I like to include the drop shadows. That's something you'll have to decide for yourself. Now, I do note that this here that I made, I cut it so that it would be able to be tucked with my photo, and I could, you can see the complete piece here. I could leave, I'm trying to see what this upper drop shadow does. I think I'm going to have to leave that because of the upper drop shadow. If I, well, let's see what happens. I'm going to test it. Okay, now that I've got done talking to myself, Control and click on this, and I'm going to get this green color, and Alt backspace fills that right in. And I'm going to do the same thing for this one, Alt backspace. So now I have both of those pieces. I see I have something funky going on over here. Aha, see, when I made this and cut it, I didn't notice it, but when I cut this piece up here, I had an extra piece down here. Amazing the things that get revealed when you make templates. So I'm going to grab my eraser and erase that, and that keeps this piece here all by itself. Now I am observing it, and I don't like this in here, so I'm just going to hit it with my eraser and smooth out that edge a little bit. So they're going to get, hit undo. I like that best. Actually, I want to clean it up a little bit. Get my Polygonal Lasso tool, because it's just rough, and that's just not good. You know, those messies and jaggies. And I'm just going to go all the way over here and all the way down. Pick it up again right in here. Sometimes it's okay to have it messy for your own personal layouts, but not for templates if you're giving them away. So I'm hitting delete, and you can see that kind of smoothed that out. It's still a little jagged, but I think it will be okay. Now, I'm not liking the drop shadow, so here's what I'm going to attempt to do. I'm going to change the distance of it a little bit. I think that helps. And the opacity just a little bit. Now let's see what we got going on here. Cancel. It would help if I had it where I could see it. The distance was up a little bit too high on this one too. Okay, what I want to do is see what happens when I think I know what I'm going to do. I'm not liking these drop shadows, so I'm going to change my template totally. And I'm going to put control click on this. Actually, I'm not going to do that. What I want to do first is copy this layer, because I'm going to make a special shadow layer out of this one. In fact, I'm going to title it just like the other one, Special Drop Shadow. And this is going to be called Paper. This blue one down here is going to be called Paper. And this one here is going to be called Paper. And I'm going to take this one and just draw with my rectangular marquee tool, and just kind of, well, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Deleting it there, and then I'm going to go ahead and control click on this. Whoops. Control click on this to get marching ants around it, and you can see it took marching ants all the way out. It's got a funny, boy, what have I done? Okay. Somehow that got simplified with a drop shadow fading out. so funny. Let's just fill this in. Actually, I'm going to select, undo, redo, select. Boy, why do I do these things? Inverse and hit delete. And that puts it the other way. And then I want to, well, I don't know what the deal is. This must be feathered. The selection must be feathered. Why, oh why did I do that to myself? Select, feather, oh it is feathered. Oh look, 0. Okay. Now let's try, I don't know which one I'm on. There we go. Filling that in to make that so the drop shadow wasn't there. Wow, I got funky stuff. You know what? I totally don't even like what I got going on. Okay, I'm going to clean that up later. I'm going to create a whole new shape with that later. And continuing on with where I was at, you can see what I've done for this one is I have made this layer. So what I was going to do, let's go ahead and redo that now. That's why I need to do this now. Somewhere here in the custom shapes, I'm sure I can find a shape that looks like that. I have no idea how I made that to begin with, but you'd think it would be easy. Well, I don't see one. So I am going to use the elliptical marquee tool and make a new layer and make a, hold down my shift key and draw a huge circle. You can see it's not quite like that, but almost needs to be bigger. Let's see, well that kind of fits in there. That will work, I guess. And then I am going to click subtract from selection, and I'm going to draw, whoops, undo. I'm going to get the rectangular, and I'm going to draw and subtract from selection. We are on rectangular. I'm going to draw and subtract that, and then I'm going to draw and subtract that, and then I'm left with a shape that I think I can play with. Alt and fill, and let's get rid of this. So I got my whole new shape layer just like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is hold down my shift key. This is taking much longer than I thought. I had no idea what I was getting into when I started this. Hold down my control key, but hopefully you're learning. You're learning more than I thought you were going to learn. And get the marching ants around this. Hit select inverse, and I'm going to go to this paper and hit delete. Oh, nope. Select inverse, go to this paper, hit delete, and control D. Now what I'm getting at is I have this piece of paper here for the people to fill that stands on its own. And I'm going to right click and clear the layer style on it because we're going to make a special drops shadow. And now I want to go up here to this one, and I am going to remove this layer style also because I do not like it. And what we have now is something much better than what we had before. I'm going to get the marching ants on here and then get on this layer and hit delete also to make sure that this layer also matches. Well, actually I can't do that because then it doesn't go over on the corner here like it should. Okay, I shall get there. I shall persevere. Now we're going to make a custom drop shadow out of this one. I'm going to clear the layer style, and I'm going to fill this with 50% gray, and then I'm going to change it to a multiply mode, and I'm going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and you can see it's already blurring out up there a little bit too much. And I'm going to hit OK, and I really think that is a much nicer drop shadow for that element. The problem is then, do I need one for this layer? Let's play with it and see. Definitely not that one. Where's the low? Definitely not that one. Can we take this down? There we go. I think that needs to be there, but I don't like the way it duplicates it at the top, so that's where I can go back to my custom drop shadow and grab my erase. Well, I'm not going to do the eraser. I'm just going to resize it down so that doesn't look as bad. It's not working. Okay, so what I need to do is clear this layer style and Control J, and this is going to be my paper layer, and this is what happens to me. Special drop shadow. This is why it takes me so long to do anything. Multiply mode. Filter, let's do the same, Gaussian blur, and then I'm going to, there's a lesson around here on custom drop shadows, so yeah, you'll want to go back and refer to that on what I'm doing here. There. Okay, I finally got it looking good. Turn my text layer back on. Where are you? That says original. That's my original ampersand. Okay, here's my. Now let's work with the title. I want to take this and change it. It seems to be simplified. Complications again. Okay, title goes here, and I want to make that, this. Probably this color here, and make it much larger. And I think I was using okay, that will look good. So I changed that, and I think I had multiple layers of this ampersand, and so I have this one here. and I probably want to just fill it. I think it's an okay font. And I do not like that high drop shadow. Drop that down a little bit. There we go, and now we have a template. I think this needs a drop shadow on it. There we go. And the very last thing I always do is to scroll up and down and make sure that all of the layers have something special named. Of course, we do a save. Now we're going to convert this template. I'm going to tweak this template later, I think, yet. But I'm going to do a file and a save as, and I'm going to make this a square. And so my original one is all there. I'm going to go to Image, Resize, Canvas Size, and I'm going to change this to a 12 by 12. And then what I'm going to do is go and click on the top layer, hold my Shift and Control key down, and select every single layer, and I'm going to make this as big as this. Now, sometimes you can go ahead and just look at it and see what happens if you just drag it to fill the entire thing, and you can be done. But for me, I don't like the way that looks. The reason being is I don't like the oval shape. I kind of want that to be round. And so I'm going to undo this, and for my purposes, you want to actually really observe what you're doing, because you don't want these people having ugly layouts. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go ahead, and I think this layer and this layer can be resized together. It's okay to have that one be larger, and I'm going to have to redo my text. I think all of these layers with the photos are probably going to be okay to resize somewhat. I'm mostly going to be resized going down, and I think that's good. Now my insert date is off, and so I'm going to scoot that somewhere. My title is off, and often when I resize and I see that the titles, my text, text resize is funky when you do this, so I always go back in, and I have a 39.27% here. Does not work good, and I just kind of pick one of them so it's a round number. And then I'm going to go down here and see, this needs to be resized a little bit. Then I'm going to go down here and do the same thing with this text. You see it's 13.9, and I'm going to make it a 12 or a 14. Let's do a 14. No, 12. About just 13. And I'm going to have to go in here and play with it and add some more. I think let's just put it there and copy this text and do just like I did before and just make it go down some. think I did something wrong. Let's not accept that. Zoom out so I can see what I'm doing. I see what I did. Ah! I'm hitting the wrong one. There. Now I added some text in there, and that looks okay, and I have myself a square template. I think I want to go ahead and resize this up a little bit. I think like that. Or is that a little too much? I'll have to go back and review my other template to see where that fell. And maybe that's pretty good right there. There you have it. That's how you make the square, and then I will do my file and save for web and make this into a preview and include the preview, 600 by 600 for this one in the download. And hey, I hope you've had fun watching. It was much longer than I thought it would be, but hopefully you've learned a little bit about it. I see here I've got this special drop shadow has a color burn to it. So what I may do is go back and change the other drop shadows. I made the special drop shadows to be gray, and I think I like this blue with the color burn, and I think I'm going to go back and change the other drop shadows, or I'll change this one. You'll see from the download you get from me which way I decided to go. I may tweak that some more. Anyway, happy scrapping, or happy template making. There you go.